Arsenal 4, Leicester City 2, Stevie Nicol. Will we start calling Arsenal the entertainers now?
A little early.
They were good to watch, though, weren't they?
Sorry?
They were good to watch, though, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Last week, my problem with Arsenal was that as well as they started against Palace, they dropped off and probably the last hour of the game was kind of the Arsenal of old. Well, today, from start to finish, they played. Yes, they let 2 goals in, which isn't good. I think that'll worry Arteta. One's an old goal from Saliba, and the one passing move and bit of play that Leicester had in the game, pretty much they scored with. But as far as going forward and controlling the game, this from start to finish was Arsenal's. So it was almost a complete performance. The 2 goals will take away, I think, from what I believe was a start to finish performance from Arsenal, which is what everybody's been looking for, particularly Arteta. They look as though at home they're going to be tough to crack. They look as though at home they're going to get after everybody. And so now they have to look at what they can do away from home. If they can turn what they did today at home away from home, then this is a team that will be challenging for the top 4. Because right now, in my opinion, I don't think they'll make top 4. But listen, if they pass the ball around and create chances the way they did today and score goals, then they will be competing for that 4th spot.
It's interesting you still don't think they'll be top 4, because so far the 2 performances we've seen from them have been excellent. And today, Gabriel Jesus got off the mark. What did you make? What did you make, and what impressed you most about the performance?
I'm going to stop you there because they won at Palace, but it very easily could have lost it or could have drawn it. So today was the complete performance, I'm saying. I still think last week was more like the old Arsenal. So I'm just going to tell you to cool your jets there on 2 complete performances, because today was impressive, yes, but not so much last week.
No, I didn't say it was a complete performance last week. I thought the first half was excellent last week. And yeah, they let Palace in a little bit, but they still got the job done last week. And you can only go, look, the sample size isn't great so far, but if you're an Arsenal fan right now, you've got to be thinking there aren't 4 better teams than us in the league this season. You've got to be thinking this is a Champions League potential top 4 finishing side because of the way that they're playing right now. But you know what it's like, Stevie. This is a chance for us to overreact to what we see, and that's why we do what we do. Gabriel Jesus, what impressed you most about his performance today?
Everything. If he performs like that every time he steps on the field, then if I'm an Arsenal fan, yes, I'm looking for top 4, no question. I mean, he had one run in the second half where he ghosted past 3 defenders and played a ball across the 6-yard area, and had they had somebody coming in and expecting it, what a goal it would have been. He did score two fantastic goals. The first one, Johnny Evans doesn't get close enough, gives him time to look up, and he picks his spot. Yes, he gets a little flick off Evans, but the execution, in my opinion, was fantastic. So, yeah, Jesus has been a breath of fresh air to this side. He, no question, looks a different player than he did at City, in my opinion. He looks like a player who's got the weight lifted from his shoulders. I always said, I thought at City, he looked to me as though he felt every time he stepped on the field, he had to prove something. In an Arsenal jersey, he looks as though he's nothing to prove to anybody. He's going out, he's having fun, he's playing his football, he's loving it, he's excited. The young players around them are feeding him. So right now, Jesus, no question, absolutely flying. And if he continues that, then yes, we will start talking about Arsenal in the top 4.
You just mentioned the young players around him. The supporting cast that he's got have been outstanding so far. And it looks like Gabriel Martinelli really has kind of stepped up at least a gear or 2. And he was excellent last season. He's becoming a key part, isn't he, coming in from that left-hand side. And that was a super goal.
Yeah, well, he's talented. I don't think anybody hasn't seen previously that he's got talent. He just hasn't been able to keep himself fit and get a consistent run of games in that first team. And if you want to know how good he was today, give Mr. Fofana a call, because this is a guy who supposedly was going to Chelsea for 85 million, who was an absolute shocker, but couldn't handle Martinelli. Yeah, Martinelli, no question, as a player. He looks to me as though he's bulked up a little. He looks a little bigger. He looks a little stronger. Certainly hasn't lost any pace, and he looks confident. And as I said, if he can stay fit, my goodness, Arsenal's front three with Saka on the other side, they'll scare any defence in this league.
I want to end with Leicester in just a second, but one more question about Arsenal. Kieran Tierney is a super player. Left-hand side, can play left centre-back as well. If he plays, Zinchenko's going to play as well. You've got Thomas Partey, you've got Xhaka, who I thought was outstanding today, Granit Xhaka. How do you fit both Zinchenko and Tierney into that side right now? Or do you just keep it as it is and bring Tierney on for the last 15?
No, you don't change it. I don't see how you make it better by changing it. If Xhaka gets injured, for example, then I don't think you'd have a problem moving Zinchenko into the middle of the park. You know, he plays there for Ukraine, and he was really good in there for Ukraine. But right now, that 11 that's starting, we always talk about competition for places. Well, Arsenal's got that. You got Smith Rowe, who's looking to get a game as well. Another young player who when he steps on the field is going to be exciting to watch and is going to give you something. So it's great news for Arsenal. But as far as Tierney and Zinchenko, right now it's Zinchenko's spot to lose, and Tierney's just going to have to be patient until either injury or loss of form or whatever it may be gets him that opportunity, because right now he's coming off the bench.
Okay, let's end with Leicester. How concerned are you if you're Brendan Rodgers? The first game of the season, you let the lead slip. Today, conceded 4. Haven't really replaced Kasper Schmeichel very well. Another error by a goalkeeper in Danny Ward. Are you concerned if you're Brendan Rodgers?
Well, after today's performance, yes. I didn't see a lot of last week. But today, I looked at a side that passed the ball with no real purpose. I mean, it took them 73 minutes to actually put a decent bit of play together as far as adding a bit of desire on the end of the passing. Listen, anybody can pass the ball around, and certainly Leicester passed it around, but it got nowhere. And there was no real injection of any desire to go forward pretty much for the majority of this game. Defensively, they could have lost at least 6 goals today, so that's got to be a worry. Johnny Evans is obviously on the wrong side of his best days, and so pace is a problem for him. Fofana, as we said, had an absolute shocker, and in the middle of the park, Tielemans and the likes of Maddison and Dewsbury Hall, they couldn't stop anybody getting at the back four. So it really was a desperate performance. And if you look at the scoreline, 4-2, it doesn't really tell you the story. Leicester were not in this game. Leicester were dominated, and Leicester got what they deserved, which was absolutely nothing. So, yes, if I'm Brendan Rodgers, I'm worried. And also, you got to mention Danny Ward in goal. He did make a good save from Jesus in the first half. But you know what? They got back in the game at 2-1, having been completely dominated for 70 minutes. And then he goes and just throws one in. I mean, you can't do that. Danny Ward, in my opinion, has shown that he's not a Premier League class goalkeeper. And right now, Leicester needs somebody who's going to stop anything that's coming at them, because defensively, they're not stopping anybody getting at their goalkeeper.
Plenty of issues for Leicester boss Brendan Rodgers, but for Mikel Arteta, 2 wins from 2, and Arsenal are off to a flyer.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.